What is going on there, everyone? Well, in a lot of my previous videos about the border and all this, you have heard me constantly praise Mexico and the government of Mexico for, really stepping up and helping us with our border situation while helping, them preserve their own border. Well, here's a situation that's happening where I completely disagree with the Mexican government officials because I don't know what they're thinking. This is a subject where it's just like, really? Are you serious? But let's get into it. Mexico gun battle near Texas border between suspected cartel members and police leaves at least 21 dead. Let's get into this because for some reason the Mexican government doesn't want to label the cartels as terrorist organizations, which indeed by the definition of terrorists or terrorism, that's exactly what they are. But let's get into this story. It's kind of a sad story as usual when we talk about anything happening with these stupid cartels. 4 police officers were among nearly 24 people killed after security forces engaged in an hour-long gun battle with suspected cartel. I don't know why they say suspected. These cartels are brazen. They know that they generally outpower government forces. So they openly advertise that they are the cartels. You'll see when I scroll down in a little bit. They have their cartel names on the sides of their vehicles because no one really bothers them too much. But let's keep going. It was with suspected cartel members Saturday in a Mexican town near the U.S. border, days after President Trump said he was going to move to designate Mexican drug cartels as terror organizations. Yeah, I mean, Mexico's government, come on, do you need, how much do you need? How much do you need? How much evidence do you need? The shootout happened around noon in a small town of Villa Union, a town in Coahuila State, located about an hour's drive southwest of Eagle Pass, Texas. Coahuila State government, our governor Miguel Angel, Requelme, I think is how you say it, told local media that 4 were dead. 4 of the dead were police officers killed in the initial confrontation, and that several municipal workers were missing. On Sunday, the Coahuila state government said that security forces killed 7 additional members of the gang, bringing the death toll to at least 21. I mean, they lit up the municipal building. There's got to be better pictures for you. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, they lit that place up. But that's not terrorism, apparently, to the Mexican government. The armed group of suspected cartel members stormed the town of 3,000 residents in a convoy of trucks, attacking local government offices and prompting state and federal forces to intervene. 10 alleged members of the cartel of the Northeast were initially killed in the response. Requelme told reporters that the state had acted decisively to take back the town, as videos of the shootout posted on social media show burned out vehicles and the facade of Villa Union's municipal office riddled with bullets. You know, when you have to take back the town, seems like you're dealing with terrorists. Come on. Look at that. See that? That's what I was talking to you. A damaged black pickup with the CDN of the Cartel de Noreste, or Cartel of the Northeast, written in white on his doors, could be seen in the street in an Associated Press photo. Yeah, that's pretty bold, you know. That's pretty bold. That kind of shows you that these cartels don't fear the government forces that are supposed to be hunting them. Half of the government forces, unfortunately, are in these people's pockets, man. We know this. Mexico's government, local governments, and federal government have been very corrupt. We know this to be true. We know it's fact. It's undeniable. But it's pathetic that they, in essence, are protecting the cartels by going against labeling them as terrorists. Riquelme told reporters that police had identified 14 vehicles involved in the attack and seized more than a dozen guns. 3 of the suspected gunmen were killed by security forces in the initial pursuit of the gang members as they fled into rugged terrain, according to Reuters. That's where drones come in handy. You know, our American drones that can see through the canopy? Yeah, they can't run from that. It's real hard to run from an infrared camera. In the wake of the assault, the governor said that security forces will remain in town for several days to restore a sense of calm. Yeah, sense of calm. It's going to take more than several days. You would imagine, like, if this happened somewhere in America, that's all we'd be talking about for quite some time, as long as there was some kind of political connotation, because recently we've had a couple mass shootings that were literally got about 30 minutes of airtime because they weren't political in nature. It was black on black shootings, which is still a freaking problem, media. You know, you should still report on it, even though it doesn't fit your narrative. Come on. But yeah, I digress. These groups won't be allowed to enter our state territory, the government of Coahuila said in a statement. Yeah, you were real successful on stopping them from coming in there in the first place, as they drove a freaking convoy of clearly marked cartel vehicles up to your town and through it, shooting up your municipal buildings. Mexico's murder rate has increased to historically high levels, inching up by 2% in the first 10 months of the presidency of Andrés Obrador. Federal officials said recently that there have been, whoa, get ready for this number, 29,414 homicides so far in the year 2019. What? Wow. Up from 28,869 over the same period last year. What is going on? Y'all aren't dealing with terrorists. No. Mexican officials, you're not dealing with terrorists. You only have 30,000 people being murdered every year by these cartels. God. Ignorance is bliss. The release of the figures come at a time when López Obrador is facing growing criticism for his government's hugs, not bullets policies, of not using violence when fighting violent drug cartels. This is what happens when you elect lefties. Good job. You elected a semi-progressive leftist. This is what you get. Good job. In early November, Mexico made international headlines when a drug cartel ambushed 9 Americans, focusing world attention on the rise of violence in the country. The 3 women and 6 children, all members of a dual citizen family that lived in La Mora, a decades-old settlement in the Sonora state, founded as part of an offshoot of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. They were a polygamous group, so when polygamy became illegal, they said, screw it, I'm going to Mexico. Were on their way to see relatives in the U.S. when they were targeted about 70 miles south of Douglas, Arizona, by cartel members. At the time, Trump called on Mexico to wage war on the cartels. He told the author of and former Fox News Channel host Bill O'Reilly in an interview posted last week, his administration is well into that process to designate drug cartels as terrorist organizations. While the president did not indicate how the U.S. policy would change from past years, Trump said he told López Obrador that the U.S. stands ready to go in and clean it out. Because obviously you can't. It's not like we're trying to be mean to you. It's not like Trump's trying to show you up or anything. No, y'all have a legitimate problem. And like I said, corruption has a big thing. It's a big piece of the pie. Half these towns have corrupt leaders who are tipped off, this, that, and the other, to get away. I mean, look at this. Look at their vehicles. They got the Punisher signs. What is that any different from an ISIS vehicle? The flags may be a slight different. But you got these blacked out vehicles with armed gunmen inside that are literally just going to terrorize communities, to make them fear the cartels. That's terrorism. terrorism. On Friday, the day before the deadly gun battle, Mexico's president said he would not accept any foreign intervention in Mexico to deal with violent criminal gangs after Trump's comments. Of course you won't, because you're not a good leader. That's all that is, and I hope the Mexican people see that and vote you out at their first possible chance. Riquelme on Saturday made similar comments to López Obrador on how Mexico should handle the problem. I don't think that Mexico needs intervention. I think Mexico needs collaboration and cooperation. Collaboration's kind of intervention when you think about it. He told reporters, "We're convinced that the state has the power to overcome the criminals." Well, yeah, that's been y'all been trying that for decades, and it's gotten you nowhere except for your homicide rate to steadily climb. So obviously you're not doing something right, and you need, some professionals to come in there and show you how it's done. Like the SEALs or something. They can come in there and sweep that stuff up for you real good. U.S. Attorney General William Barr is scheduled to visit Mexico this week to discuss cooperation over security, according to Reuters. We will see. I tell you, Mexico, I got a lot of respect for y'all for many things, but this is where y'all lose me. Y'all keep pussyfooting around with these cartels, and they keep killing thousands and thousands of people every year. Come on, man. You're not gonna designate them as terrorists? Are y'all? I mean, what are y'all doing down there? Do you think your citizens really want to deal with this type of crap going on in their homes, in their towns, in their cities? No. It's terrifying to people because they're terrorists. They drive in, they shoot something up, and then they leave, most of the time not even opposed. Because there's certain counties or states or whatever that pay the cartels. And the cartels pay them in return for silence and cooperation. Come on, man. Tighten up. Tighten up. And to the citizens of Mexico, I'm sorry your leaders won't do more to keep y'all safe. I mean, y'all's children are running around these towns when these cartels come in broad daylight and just start spraying bullets everywhere. Indiscriminately. And they obviously don't care about killing women and children no more, even though there used to be an unspoken rule about that, but it seems that rule's gone out the window too. Look what they did to our American citizens. American/Mexican citizens. They held dual citizenship. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. I feel bad for the citizens of Mexico. The actual working people that are just trying to make it in the world. Because they got to dodge bullets all the time, thanks to their governments, local and federal government, who refuses to actually initiate something to stop this problem. It's kind of pathetic when you look at it. Mexicans stand strong, man. We're with you. Us conservatives are a law and order group. We believe in it. We know it's needed. And maybe it's time for y'all to vote in a conservative. Just saying. But yeah, I got one or two more stories coming up about old Greta Thunberg and her nonsense. She kind of finally spilled the beans about what her climate activism's really about. So we'll get into that in the next story coming up. But as always, I'd love to hear your comments on this. Whether you think Mexico's government will actually step up like they've been saying they're going to do for decades. Or whether you think maybe we should definitely get these cartels labeled as terrorists for international communities can come in and clean this problem up. Because it's bad for it's bad for the economy of Mexico, which half of everything goes to the cartels. It's just ridiculousness on all fronts down there right now. I feel for the citizens down there. But as always, like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch y'all on the flip side.